Welcome back to the Faith Focus podcast, where we explore the profound and beautiful aspects of our Catholic faith. I'm your host, Daniela Bezant, and today we're going to embark on a journey to reclaim the sacred feminine in Catholicism. For centuries, women have been integral to the life and mission of the Church. From the veneration of the Virgin Mary to the quiet yet powerful roles women played in Jesus' ministry, Catholicism has always held a deep respect for the sacred feminine. Today, we'll delve into how Catholicism is inherently feminist, how women supported Jesus and the apostles, and how modern society's misconceptions about femininity have led many women astray. We'll also discuss the beautiful resurgence of traditional gender roles within the Church and how this brings stability and order in a confusing world. Let's begin by looking at how Catholicism honors women, particularly through the veneration of the Virgin Mary. Mary, the Mother of God, is the epitome of grace, humility, strength, and divine femininity. She is venerated not only for her role in the birth of Jesus, but also for her unwavering faith and obedience to God's will. The Hail Mary, a prayer repeated countless times by Catholics worldwide, reflects our deep reverence for her. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Mary's example shows us that the true strength lies in humility and faithfulness. She's a beacon of hope and a model of perfect discipleship. Her role in salvation history is unparalleled, and her maternal care extends to all humanity as she intercedes for us before her Son. Now let's turn our attention to the women who were part of Jesus' ministry. Although they weren't among the 12 apostles, women played crucial roles in supporting Jesus and spreading his message. Mary Magdalene, often called the apostle to the apostles, was the first to witness the resurrection and announce it to the disciples. This is something that the Church does not consider an accident or something that they just sort of shrug off. The Church says that, or believes that, that's telling us something. The fact that Jesus chose a woman to go to first was a message for all of us. Joanna, Susanna, and many other women provided for Jesus and his followers out of their own resources. You'll read that in Luke 8, 1-3. These women showed immense courage and dedication, and they stood by Jesus at the cross when many of his male disciples fled. And Mary, she was also present at the crucifixion and even later at the tomb. Their faith and loyalty were instrumental in the early church, proving that women's contributions have always been vital. Now, personally, my journey to reclaiming the sacred feminine began with a deep dive into my own experiences. For a long time, I fell for the lie of feminism that told me I had to be as tough as a guy to succeed in business. I was in a male-dominated and combative industry, so this meant adopting a hardened and often mean demeanor. And while that toughness served me well in some respects, it took a heavy toll. That stress fried my thyroid and left me feeling toxic, permeating my personal life with constant tension. There was this constant inner struggle, wanting the chivalry of a man, but finding it patronizing at the same time because I was told it was. Over time, I felt like I was losing my sense of femininity and the intuitive gifts that came naturally to women. I was so focused on emulating masculine traits in business that I neglected the unique strengths that women bring to the table. In my quest to reclaim my femininity, which I was doing for personal reasons, so I wasn't even thinking about it on a business element. I was just realizing that my mannish ways in business was affecting my personal life. So I went to reclaim that femininity, and I discovered that the key lay in embracing qualities inherent to women, such as cunning. Cunning is a lovely counter to the male force that I often encountered in business. So, for example, in Ontario's used clothing industry, where I was battling organized crime, quite literally, I initially relied on force to hold my ground. And while I managed to keep up, I was exhausted. It wasn't until I let go of force and started to lean in on my cunning that I truly began to win. I outsmarted my opponents with the least amount of effort, and the tide began to turn in my favor. And this experience taught me that women have unique gifts that are incredibly powerful when embraced fully in business and when we're not trying to pretend to be like men. The story of Judith from the Bible is a powerful example of the sacred feminine at work. Judith was a devout widow who saved her people by beheading an Assyrian general. Her courage and cunning are celebrated in the book of Judith, a text that is often overlooked in Protestant traditions. Modern feminist movements have sometimes labeled Catholicism as sexist, yet it is these very movements that have erased the stories of brave and cunning women like Judith from their narratives because they've removed those books from the Bible. Catholicism, on the other hand, venerates these women and their contributions. Judith's story is a testament to the power of the sacred feminine, showing that women can achieve great things through their unique strength. And by the way, that person's head, she put in her handbag. So she carried a head in her bag. So, even purses made it into the Bible as part of the heroine story. Veiling, once a common practice among women, is making a comeback too. This beautiful tradition is a physical manifestation of a woman's reverence for God and her recognition of her own sacredness. Veiling during Mass is an act of humility and devotion, acknowledging the presence of Christ in the Eucharist. We've actually done an episode on this. Go back and check it out. It's also a reminder of the mystical gifts that women possess, gifts that are deeply respected within the Church. Furthermore, there's a growing movement encouraging men to embrace traditional masculinity, which complements the feminine strength of women. Men are called to be protectors, providers, and spiritual leaders, reflecting the strength and courage of saints like Saint Joseph. This return to traditional gender roles fosters a sense of stability and order, providing a strong foundation for families and communities. In a world of confusion, Catholicism offers a haven of stability and order. The Church's teachings on gender roles are not about limiting individuals, but about honoring the unique gifts that God has given to each person. When men and women embrace their true identities, they create a harmonious and balanced society. The resurgence of traditional practices such as veiling and honoring of women's roles in the Church reflects a deeper understanding of the sacred feminine. Women are reclaiming their inherent dignity and holiness, recognizing that their value is not determined by how well they can emulate men, but by their unique contributions as women. As Catholic women return to these traditional roles, they inspire others to do the same. They lead by example, showing that true empowerment comes from embracing one's God-given identity and gifts. This movement is not just about looking to the past, but about building a future where the sacred feminine is celebrated and respected. Let's look at a reflection on the words of St. John Paul II, who deeply understood the value of women in the Church. In his apostolic letter, Mulieres Dignitatem, he wrote, "The Church gives thanks for each and every woman. The Church gives thanks for all the manifestations of the feminine genius which have appeared in the course of history, in the midst of all peoples and nations. She gives thanks for all the charisms which the Holy Spirit distributes to women in the history of the people of God." St. John Paul II's words remind us that women have always been and will continue to be vital to the life of the Church. Their contributions, both seen and unseen, are indispensable to the mission of Christ. As we embrace the sacred feminine, let's also encourage our men to honor their roles, creating a balanced and harmonious community. Together, we can build a church that truly reflects the beauty and diversity of God's creation. Thank you for joining me on this journey to reclaim the sacred feminine in Catholicism. If you found this discussion meaningful, please share it with others, subscribe to the podcast, and please leave a comment. It really helps us when you do. Your support helps us continue to bring you thoughtful and enriching content. Until next time, stay blessed and keep that faith alive.